All right, let's dive into one of history's most captivating cold cases, the mystery of Queen Nefertiti. You know her face, right? It's one of the most famous in the entire world. But the real woman behind that iconic image? Well, her story is almost a complete blank. Our story doesn't actually start in ancient Egypt. We have to jump forward to 1912. Picture this. A German archaeology team is digging in the sands of Amarna, and they pull out this painted limestone bust. The lead archaeologist, a guy named Ludwig Borchardt, he was just stunned. In that one moment, a face that had been hidden for over 3,000 years was brought back into the light, and bam, a global icon was born. And really, that bust is our way into this whole story. It's what made her famous. We see that face everywhere. But it makes you wonder, right? Beyond this absolutely flawless face, who was the real Nefertiti? We're talking about a 3,000-year-old mystery. And today, we're going to try and piece together the clues. So let's kick off our investigation with the most basic question of all. Where did Nefertiti even come from? Her name itself is a clue. Nefertiti. It translates to "the beautiful woman has come." Now, for some Egyptologists, this is a huge deal. That phrasing, "has come," suggests she wasn't from there, that she was a foreigner who came to Egypt. But, of course, it's not that simple. That's just one theory. The truth is, her origins are a total mystery. Was she the daughter of a really powerful court official named Ai? Was she a foreign princess sent from a rival kingdom? Some people even think she was her husband's own sister. What we know for sure is that her family tree is one of the biggest debates in all of Egyptology. But look, regardless of where she came from, her marriage to the young pharaoh Amenhotep IV set the stage for one of the most revolutionary partnerships in ancient history. So at around 15 years old, she marries the pharaoh and becomes his great royal wife. But this was clearly way more than just a political move. The art from their time is, well, it's shockingly different. It shows them in these really intimate, natural poses, kissing, playing with their daughters. It really points to a genuine, loving partnership. And this is what made her so radically different. I mean, think about it. A typical queen was just a consort, kind of a supporting character. But Nefertiti? No way. She was depicted as a co-ruler. She's shown smiting Egypt's enemies. That's an act that was only for the pharaoh. She held power all on her own. She wasn't just a queen, she was a force of nature. And all that unprecedented power? It would fuel their biggest, most ambitious project. A religious revolution that was going to turn Egyptian society completely upside down. I mean, they didn't just tweak the religion, they threw the whole thing out and started over. First, they said, all those old gods, forget them. From now on, we only worship one, Aten, the sun disk. Then, they changed their own names to honor their new god. Then, they abandoned the capital city of Thebes and built a brand new city out in the desert. And for the final move, the most audacious one, they fired the entire priesthood, declaring that only the two of them could talk to the god Aten. This wasn't just a religious shift, it was a massive, massive power grab. And who was at the very heart of this new religion? Nefertiti. She was its high priestess. People saw her as a living fertility goddess, the direct female connection to the god Aten. So if you were an Egyptian and you wanted to reach the divine, you had to worship through her and her husband. So their reign hits this incredible peak, but it was followed by some real tragedy, which leads us to the most shocking theory of them all. Did Nefertiti actually go from queen to king? Okay, so in year 12 of their rule, they have this massive celebration. Everything's going great. But right after that, disaster strikes. A horrible plague sweeps through Egypt, and it's believed that at least 3 of their 6 daughters die. Just a few years later, Akhenaten himself is dead. And after that, poof, Nefertiti is just gone. She completely vanishes from all historical records. Vanishes. Just gone. Or was she? This is the absolute core of the mystery. Did she just die in all the chaos, another victim of the plague and the turmoil? Or did she do something totally unprecedented and take the throne for herself? So, a leading theory says she did exactly that. After Akhenaten died, Nefertiti grabbed power and ruled Egypt as a sole pharaoh. She might have taken on a new name, maybe Nefer-Neferuaten, or she could be the mysterious pharaoh we know as Smenkhare. The evidence is scattered, but what's left of the art and inscriptions strongly hints that a female ruler was in charge between Akhenaten and his very famous successor, Tutankhamun. Okay, so this brings us to the final piece of the puzzle. What happened after their reign and the modern-day hunt for answers? After Akhenaten died, the old way of doing things came roaring back. His successors, including his young stepson Tutankhamun, basically went on a campaign to erase everything they had built. Their names were literally chiseled off monuments, their temples torn down. They were called heretics, and history was rewritten to pretty much pretend they never existed. And that's a huge reason why her fate is so hard to figure out. So, what are the leading theories about her final days? Okay, theory 1. She died in the same plague that took her daughters. Makes sense. Theory 2, she was murdered. There's this fascinating story of a widowed Egyptian queen who tried to marry a foreign prince to keep her power, which would have been seen as treason. And theory 3, the one we just talked about, she ruled as pharaoh for a few years before she died. Now, the ultimate prize in this whole historical cold case is, of course, finding her body. Her tomb has never been identified. But there is a candidate, a mummy known as the Younger Lady. DNA tests have confirmed she was King Tut's mother. But does that mean she's Nefertiti? Some Egyptologists are convinced, but others say the DNA is tricky and could point to another relative. So for now, the hunt for Nefertiti's final resting place is still one of archaeology's greatest quests. You know, when you step back and look at her life, it's just this incredible whirlwind. She goes from mysterious origins to revolutionary queen, from the high priestess of a brand new god to a potential pharaoh ruling in her own right. Her story is just this amazing mix of power, religion, rebellion, and in the end, a 3,000-year-old cold case. Finding her tomb is still one of the biggest prizes in all of archaeology. And that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? If her tomb is ever found, will it finally solve the mysteries of the beautiful queen? Or will the answers just open up a whole new set of questions?